Well, if you're looking for a new home, you know it's a seller's market right now. Act quickly or lose out. In this morning's U.S. Bank Economic 360, U.S. Bank Vice President and Senior Portfolio Manager Mike Denneman joins Business Courier editor Rob Dahlmeyer in the studio to talk about the current housing situation. Mike and Rob.
Peg, thanks very much. Mike, thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Many people out there, including the person that you're talking to right now, have horrible memories of the housing bubble.
Right.
I happened to buy my house about 3 years before the bubble, and I'm still feeling it. But housing prices are rising again. Is this a thing I should feel happy about, or should I be a little nervous about this?
Sure. Well, no, what you're describing isn't uncommon. There are still very vivid memories of the collapse of the housing bubble and the financial crisis that followed. So naturally, as things start to pick up again in the real estate market, you know, people wonder, are we going down that same road? And clearly nobody wants that. But that's not where we are right now. This growth that we're seeing, this improvement is very healthy, and that's a good thing. The housing industry is such a large part of our economy that any improvement there just has a nice positive, just a ripple effect across so many different areas of the economy. So no, we're not getting overheated. It's very healthy growth, and this is a trend that we're feeling pretty good about.
So you're feeling pretty good about it, but are there any aspects of the market that we saw during when the bubble burst in the 2000s that we should be looking at right now?
Yeah, you know, you are seeing a little bit of that. First of all, I should start by saying, you know, as the saying goes, all real estate is local.
That's right.
And so here in Cincinnati anyway, it doesn't look as if things are getting carried away. But when we look nationwide, especially in some of the larger metropolitan areas, places like Seattle, D.C., San Francisco, all the usual suspects, we're seeing that things are really starting to pick up a bit. We're hearing that bidding wars are becoming more commonplace. The inventory, especially on the high end, is moving very quickly. We're hearing that flipping houses is coming back into favor. And so, yeah, these are all components of the housing bubble that we saw. But to us, these aren't raising red flags, at least not yet. And especially considering that some of the worst abuses we saw, you know, people buying multiple houses on spec, or mortgages with little or no down payment, or even income verification. We're not seeing any of that out there at all. So, you know, certainly we are seeing some of the activities that were common a decade ago as the bubble inflated. But again, they're not to us raising a red flag right now.
Well, that's good to hear. And finally, last question, housing starts, new construction. How's that looking right now? Because that's clearly always a sign of confidence.
Exactly. Great question. And the good news is that it's one of the few bright spots right now in the economy. We've gotten so many economic indicator reports recently that have been lackluster or disappointing. Just this past week, we had the report on housing starts for the month of April, and they're now at the highest level that we saw since 2007.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is really encouraging. If you think about the aftermath of the bubble, construction basically ceased. It took a while to get going again. So the fact that we see builders out there with demand tells us that construction's picking up. And with that being such a large component of the economy, that's a good and healthy sign. So it's a trend that has been building over time, and of course we're very hopeful that that continues.
Very, very hopeful myself personally. Anyway, thanks so much for being here, Mike.
Sure.